Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of Math Review. We're going to be looking at practice point set 17 this week, and the first page of that is about single step and multi-step problems where we're going to be looking at multiplication and division. So let's go ahead and jump right in. On question number 1, it says find the product of 782 and 7. The first thing we need to remember is what product means. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So we're going to be multiplying these two numbers together. We need to go ahead and line them up and stack them so that we can multiply them correctly. So we're going to write it out 782 with 7 in the ones column, put a times sign. Now when we multiply, we always start with the ones column, then the tens, then the hundreds. So let's start here. 7 times 2 is 14. I put the 4 down below and the 1 goes up above. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 1 is 57. Put the 5 up here. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 5 more is 54. Since it's just one digit as one of my factors, I'm done. So my final answer is 5,474. Question number 2 is a long division problem, and so we're going to want to write it out so that we can do the steps of long division. 5 is our divisor on the outside, and then we have 803 on the inside. If this helps you, you can write out our steps of dividing. We have divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down, and repeat or remainder. So we're first going to divide. Can 5 go into 8? Yes, it can. It can go into 8 one time. So now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm going to subtract that number. 8 minus 5 is 3. I'm going to check that 3 is smaller than my divisor, and it is. So I'm good to go to bring down the next number. I'm going to bring down that 0, and I'm ready for my next step. Since I'm not done, I'm going to use the R for repeat and go back up to division. So now how many times does 5 go into 30? If it helps you, you can draw a new division house out of your equals line. Sometimes that helps me to be able to remember to divide again. So 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times 5, because I'm multiplying again, is 30. Now I'm going to subtract. 30 minus 30 is 0. I check that that's smaller than 5, and it is. So I bring down my last number. Now I'm going to repeat because I'm not done yet. Let's go back up to the top. How many times does 5 go into 3? It can't, so that's 0 times. You can't just skip that step and decide to put a remainder since it can't go in. You have to put that value in for your ones place, and it's 0 times. So now let's go to our next step. 0 times 5 is 0. I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. I'm going to check that it's smaller than 5. It is. I'm going to see if there's anything to bring down. There isn't. So now I'm done. I have a remainder of 3. My final answer for 803 divided by 5 is 160 with a remainder of 3. For question number 3, we have a 2-digit by 2-digit problem. There's a couple different ways that we can solve this, but we're going to do it first with a simple algorithm so that we can make sure that we can follow those steps. Remember, we're going to start in our ones column, so it's probably best for you to cover up your tens either with a small item, or you can just use your finger. Another strategy I saw some students do, which was awesome, is they would circle it so that they knew they weren't using it now, but it was there for them to use later. That works also. So 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 more is 49. When I move on to my second digit here in my tens place for multiplying, I have some housekeeping I have to do first. I cross off my ones because I'm done with it. I cross off any numbers up here because I might have some new ones to put on. And I add a 0 down here because I'm done with the ones column. I'm going to be starting in the tens, so there isn't going to be anything in my ones place down here. Okay, what's 5 times 2? 10. Put the 0, carry the 1. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41. Now with those two numbers, I add them up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 0 is 9. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 4 comes down. There's my final answer for question number 3. All right, let's look at number 4. 730 divided by 8. Again, we're going to have a long division problem. So we put our divisor outside the division house. and we put our dividend inside. All right, let's write out our steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down, remainder, or repeat. Can 8 go into 7? No, it cannot. So there's a couple options. You can put a 0 here and go through all of those steps, or you can also just know that there isn't going to be anything in this spot and move over to filling in for this 2-digit number. Okay, that's what we're going to do in this example. So how many times does 8 go into 73? Well, 8 goes into 73 9 times. So now next, 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract. 73 minus 72 is 1. I check that that's smaller than 8. I bring down my next number, which is a 0, and I repeat. So let's start over. Again, if you want to do a division house and that helps you, go for it. How many times does 8 go into 10? Once. 1 times 8 is 8. Let's subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. Let's check that that's smaller than 8. Sure is. I have nothing left to bring down, so I'm done. This is my remainder. My answer is 91, remainder 2. And last but not least, we have question number 5. Question number 5 says 73 times 85. So again, circle, cover, whatever helps you to know not to use that tens value first. Let's go ahead and start. 5 times 3 is 15. I put the 5 down and I carry the 1. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. Now let's do our housekeeping. So I cross off my ones digit, I cross off my numbers above, and I add a 0 in the ones column for the next line. Alright, 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 2 more is 58. Let's add those together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. I put the 0 and carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 8 is 12. So the 2 carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. So my final answer for number 5 is 6,205. Thank you so much for listening to Practice Points Set 17, page 1. If you have any other questions, don't forget to always ask your teacher.